The galactic hegemony had ruled the stars for 3,000 years. Their red warships flew across 10,000 worlds, and every planet feared them. Emperor Kreltak sat on his throne made of black metal, looking down at the newest prisoners with cold eyes. "More weak creatures from another dirty world," said Admiral Vorth. He pointed at the two humans standing in chains. The aliens around them laughed at their simple clothes and small translation machines. Ambassador Yoon tried to stand straight even with the heavy chains on his arms. Next to him, Diplomat Park kept her head up high. She would not show fear to these monsters, even though her heart was beating fast. The throne room was huge and dark. Strange alien creatures with too many eyes and sharp teeth filled the seats around them. They all stared at the humans like they were looking at insects. The air smelled like metal and death. "Your people will work for us now," Emperor Kreltak said in a voice like grinding stone. "You will dig in our mines and build our ships. If you say no, we will kill everyone on your world." Yoon took a deep breath. He had practiced these words many times on the long trip from Earth. "We came here to talk about peace. Our people only want to trade and learn from each other. We have many things that could help both our worlds." The Emperor's face did not change. "Peace is for the strong. You are weak. Your ships are slow and your weapons are toys. You have nothing we want except your bodies to work for us." "Please listen," Park said, stepping forward. "We have medicine that can heal sickness. We have food that can grow anywhere. We have music and art that could bring joy to your people too." The aliens laughed louder now. Some of them made horrible sounds that might have been singing. The Emperor raised one clawed hand, and the room became quiet. "You waste my time with stupid words," he said. "I will show you what happens to those who waste my time." Far away on Earth, 6-year-old Kim lay in a hospital bed. He had been sick for many months, and the doctors said there was nothing more they could do. His mother Hannah held his small hand, and his father Choi sat in the chair beside the bed with tears in his eyes. Kim's fever made everything look strange and bright. The walls seemed to move, and he could hear voices from very far away. His parents thought he was dreaming, but Kim knew better. He could see things that were happening in places far from Earth. "The ship," Kim whispered, his voice so soft his parents had to lean close to hear. "Our people went to talk to them. But the bad aliens, they don't want to listen." Hannah brushed Kim's hair back from his hot forehead. "Sure, baby. You need to rest. The fever is making you have bad dreams." But Kim's eyes were wide and bright, staring at something his parents could not see. "They're hurting them, Mom. They're hurting Ambassador Yoon and Ms. Park. The Emperor is so angry and mean." Back in the alien throne room, Emperor Kreltax pointed at Ambassador Yoon. A guard with 4 arms and red skin stepped forward, holding a weapon that glowed with blue light. "This is what happens to those who think they can bargain with gods," the Emperor said. The weapon fired. The energy blast hit Yoon in the chest, and he fell to the ground. His body turned to dust in seconds, leaving only his empty chains on the floor. Park screamed. The sound echoed off the metal walls like a bird crying for help. She tried to run to where Yoon had been standing, but the chains held her back. "Now you understand," the Emperor said, smiling with too many teeth. "Your people mean nothing. Your words mean nothing. Only power matters." He pointed at Park, and the guard aimed his weapon at her. On Earth, Kim sat up in his hospital bed so fast that the machines around him started beeping. His parents jumped back in surprise. Kim's face was wet with tears, but his eyes burned with something that was not fever. "No," Kim said, and his voice sounded different now. "Older. Stronger. They won't hurt anyone else. Not ever again." The feeling started in Kim's chest, like a warm light growing brighter and brighter. But it was not just warm. It was also full of sadness and anger and love all mixed together. The feeling grew until Kim thought it might break him apart. "They killed him," Kim cried. "They killed Ambassador Yoon just to be mean. And now they want to kill Ms. Park too." Hannah reached for her son, but stopped when she saw his eyes. They were glowing with soft white light, like stars. The feeling exploded out of Kim like a wave rushing across the ocean. It moved faster than light, faster than thought, reaching across all the empty space between Earth and the alien empire. In the throne room, Emperor Kreltax was about to give the order to kill Park when something changed. The air itself seemed to shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot stone. Every alien in the room felt it, a pressure that made their skin crawl and their hearts beat fast. "What is happening?" the Emperor demanded. Far out in space, the hegemony's third battle fleet was flying toward Earth. 300 warships, each one big enough to destroy a city. Admiral Vorth was on the biggest ship, planning how to attack the human world. Then the wave of feeling from Kim reached them. The ships did not explode. They did not catch fire or break apart. They simply stopped being there. One moment, 300 warships filled the darkness of space. The next moment, there was nothing but empty black and distant stars. Admiral Vortha's last thought before he vanished was confusion. His instruments showed nothing wrong. His weapons were not firing. His ship was not damaged. He simply ceased to exist, along with every other alien in the fleet. Back on Earth, Kim fell back onto his pillow. The light in his eyes faded, and the machines around his bed showed that his fever was gone. His sickness was gone. Everything that had been wrong with his small body was healed. His parents stared at him with wonder and fear. "They won't hurt our people anymore," Kim said softly, then closed his eyes and slept peacefully for the first time in months. 6 months after the third battle fleet disappeared, the aliens came back to Earth with even more ships. Fleet Admiral Zethko commanded 5,000 warships, each one bigger and more deadly than before. The alien leader had 4 eyes and skin like green metal, and he hated humans more than anything else in the universe. "These Earth creatures made our ships vanish somehow," he told his officers on the bridge of his flagship. "But that was just a trick. Today we will burn their world to ash and dust." The massive fleet filled the sky above Earth like a dark cloud. Each ship was as long as a mountain and carried weapons that could crack a planet in half. The aliens had come to kill every human alive. "Start shooting their cities," Admiral Zethko ordered. "Begin with the biggest one. Show them what real power looks like." The alien weapons charged up with a sound like thunder. Bright blue energy gathered at the front of each ship, growing brighter and hotter until it hurt to look at. Then they fired. Seoul was the first city hit. The energy beams came down from space like lightning made of fire. They struck the tall buildings and busy streets where millions of people lived and worked. The ground shook, windows broke, and concrete crumbled. Lee was fixing a water pipe under a big office building when the attack started. The ceiling above him cracked and fell, trapping him under heavy pieces of concrete and metal. He should have died right away, crushed flat like a bug. But something strange happened instead. Lee looked down at his hands and saw that the concrete was going right through them, like they were made of air. He could see through his own skin to the rocks below. His body was still there, but it was not solid anymore. "What is happening to me?" he whispered. Lee stood up, and the heavy debris passed through him like he was a ghost. He walked through the broken concrete and twisted metal without any trouble. When he reached the street above, he thought about being solid again, and suddenly he was. His hands and body became real once more. All around the city, the alien weapons kept firing. Buildings fell down and people ran in every direction, screaming in fear. But then more impossible things started happening. Minute was running down the street with her 2 young children, trying to get away from the falling buildings. Her son was crying, and her daughter held her hand so tight it hurt. Minute saw more energy beams coming down from the sky, aimed right at them. "No," she shouted, throwing herself over her children. "You will not hurt them." The love Minute felt for her children was so strong and pure that it became something real. A wall of shimmering light appeared around her family, like a bubble made of starlight. When the alien energy beams hit this barrier, they bounced off and shot harmlessly up into space. Minute stared at the glowing shield around them. She could not understand what was happening, but she knew her children were safe. Other people ran toward them, and the barrier grew bigger to protect them too. Deep under the city, Dr. Su was working in her science lab. She studied space and stars and how the universe worked. When the attack started, she went to her underground bunker with her computers and machines that could measure energy. "This cannot be right," she said, looking at her screens. "The readings make no sense at all." Her instruments showed that the laws of science were breaking. Space and time were bending in ways that should be impossible. The energy signatures coming from the humans above were unlike anything she had ever seen before. "It is like they are rewriting reality itself," she whispered. Up in space, Admiral Zethko was getting angry. His weapons were the most powerful in the galaxy. They could destroy whole planets. But somehow, the humans were walking through his attacks like they were not even there. "How are they doing this?" he demanded of his officers. "Our scans show they have no technology, no shields, no weapons. They should be dead." One of his aides pointed at the viewing screen with a shaking finger. "Sir, look at this. The humans are not getting hurt at all. Some of them are see-through. Others have energy walls around them. And that one is moving too fast for our cameras to follow." The alien was talking about Jin. He had been a soldier in the human army before the aliens came. Jin was in the part of Seoul where the enemy dropships were landing. Big metal boxes full of alien soldiers were falling from the sky like deadly rain. Jin watched the first aliens climb out of their ships. They had too many arms and legs, and their weapons glowed with the same blue light as the warships. They started shooting at any human they could see. Something hot and angry built up inside Jin's chest. He thought about all the innocent people getting hurt, all the children crying in fear, all the homes being destroyed. His anger grew and grew until it felt like fire in his blood. Suddenly, Jin was not standing in the same place anymore. He was behind the alien soldiers, moving so fast that time seemed to stop around him. He touched one alien on the shoulder, and the creature fell asleep instantly. He moved to the next one, faster than lightning, and that alien fell down too. The alien commander saw his soldiers dropping one by one, but he could not see who was doing it. Jin was moving too fast to be seen, appearing and disappearing like he was made of wind. "Retreat," the commander screamed into his radio. "These humans are not natural. They break the rules of everything we know. Get back to the ships now." All across Earth, similar things were happening. Humans were walking through walls, creating shields of pure light, moving faster than the eye could see, and doing other things that should have been impossible. The alien weapons could not hurt them anymore. Admiral Zethko received reports from all his ships. His most powerful weapons were useless. His soldiers were running away in terror. The humans had become something beyond his understanding. "We are leaving," he announced to his fleet. "We will tell the Emperor that these beings have power we cannot fight." The 5,000 warships turned around and flew away from Earth as fast as they could, leaving behind only stories of humans who could do impossible things. News travels fast through the dark corners of the galaxy. In hidden places where slaves worked and suffered, whispered stories began to spread from world to world. The stories all said the same incredible thing: humans from Earth could do impossible things, and they were coming to help. On the mining planet called Kethvar, thousands of alien slaves dug deep holes in the ground every day. They were different species from many worlds. Some looked like giant insects, others had blue skin and 3 arms, and some were covered in fur like animals. But they all shared the same sadness in their eyes. The hegemony guards were cruel creatures with thick armor and energy whips. They beat any slave who worked too slowly or spoke too loudly. The slaves lived in metal buildings with no windows, eating thin soup and sleeping on hard floors. One night, as the tired workers sat in their sleeping area, something amazing happened. The air in the middle of the room began to shimmer like water, and then 3 humans stepped out of nowhere. Ko was the leader of the group. He was not tall or strong-looking, and his clothes were simple and plain. But when he looked at the crowd of alien slaves, his eyes were kind and his voice was steady. "We are here to set you free," Ko said in a calm voice. The slaves stared at him in shock. Some had heard the whispered stories about humans, but seeing them appear from thin air was still hard to believe. The aliens had been slaves for so long that many had forgotten what freedom even meant. A loud alarm started ringing through the building. The hegemony guards had sensors everywhere, and they knew something was wrong. Heavy footsteps pounded down the hallway, and then the metal door burst open. 6 guards rushed in, their weapons already charging with deadly energy. The chief guard was bigger than the others, with red skin and 4 yellow eyes. He looked at the humans and laughed. "More slaves for the mines," he said, raising his weapon. "Thank you for delivering yourselves to us." All 6 guards fired at once. Blue bolts of energy flew across the room, each one hot enough to melt metal. The alien slaves cried out in fear and covered their eyes. But Ko did not move. He stood perfectly still as the energy bolts hit him and passed right through his body like he was made of air. The deadly shot struck the wall behind him and left black marks on the metal. Ko began walking toward the guards. More energy bolts flew at him, but they all went through him without causing any harm. His body flickered between solid and see-through, like a person made of light and shadow. "This cannot be," the chief guard whispered, backing away. "Nothing can survive our weapons." Ko reached out and touched the chief guard's forehead with one finger. The alien's yellow eyes rolled back, and he fell to the floor with a peaceful smile on his face. He was not dead, just sleeping deeply. The other guards tried to run, but Ko's teammates moved to stop them. One human woman touched their weapons, and the deadly energy guns turned into bouquets of colorful flowers. Another human man looked at the remaining guards, and they all lay down for a nap like children who were very tired. The alien slaves watched all this with wide eyes and open mouths. They had never seen anything like it in their entire lives. "You are safe now," Ko told them. "No one will hurt you anymore." This same scene was happening on many worlds across the galaxy. On a planet called Velthara, Human Liberator NA found a giant fortress where the hegemony kept 10,000 slaves. Instead of fighting the guards, she simply made the whole building disappear into another dimension. The slaves were free, but the guards were trapped in a place where they could not hurt anyone. On Korth Prime, one was rescuing slaves from a factory. When the hegemony soldiers attacked, he waved his hand and all their weapons became flowering plants. The soldiers stood there holding bouquets of pretty flowers instead of guns, looking very confused. Each human team had different amazing abilities. Bin could see things before they happened, so he always knew when enemies were going to attack. He would step aside just before energy bolts flew through the air where he had been standing. Rang had an even more special gift. She could put her thoughts directly into alien minds. When she touched a slave, they could suddenly feel human memories of freedom and happiness. They remembered what it was like to choose their own path and live without fear. The effect spread like a fire jumping from tree to tree. On 60 different worlds, slaves began to stand up to their masters. They remembered that they had rights and dreams and hopes. The hegemony's empire of fear started to crack and crumble. Back on the main hegemony world, Emperor Kreltax sat in his throne room getting reports from across the galaxy. Every message was the same. Slaves were rebelling, guards were running away, and humans were appearing everywhere. These Earth creatures are like a disease, he growled to his war council. Every planet they visit gets infected with ideas of freedom and rebellion. General Vextar, his most trusted officer, knelt before the throne. His hands were shaking as he spoke. My Emperor, we have lost control of 60 worlds in just 2 weeks. Our soldiers are afraid to fight the humans. They say the Earth people can break the laws of nature itself. The Emperor's face turned dark with rage. His claws dug into the arms of his throne, leaving deep scratches in the metal. If these humans want to pretend they are gods, he said in a voice like ice, then I will show them what real gods can do. Send orders to every ship in our empire. Gather the entire Imperial Navy. We will crush Earth and every human in the universe. The War Council bowed low, but they all wondered in their hearts if even their mighty fleet could stop beings who could walk through walls and make weapons turn into flowers. Emperor Kreltax had made his decision. Every ship in the Hegemony Empire would come together to destroy the humans once and for all. For 3,000 years, his people had ruled the galaxy with fear and violence. No small group of strange beings from one tiny world would change that. The call went out to every corner of the empire. Come home. Bring your ships. Bring your weapons. We go to war. From a million different worlds, the alien warships began to move. They came from mining planets and slave worlds, from military bases and conquered systems. Big ships, small ships, old ships, new ships. All of them flying toward the same place. The fleet that gathered was the largest in galactic history. 10 million warships stretched across space like a metal ocean. Some ships were as big as cities, carrying weapons that could crack planets in half. Others were small and fast, built to hunt down enemies who tried to run away. Admiral Zorkan commanded the Central Battle Group. He had fought in 100 wars and never lost a single battle. His flagship was called the Death of Worlds, and it carried enough firepower to destroy entire solar systems. Today we end this human problem forever, he told his officers. They think their magic tricks make them special. But magic cannot stop 10 million ships. Far away, near Earth's moon, Captain Dan floated in space with her team. There were only 5 humans in her squadron, facing 3,000 alien ships that had come ahead of the main fleet. To any normal person, it would look like certain death. Dan was a small woman with kind eyes and graying hair. Before the war, she had been a teacher at a school for children. Now she was something much more, though she did not fully understand what that meant. Remember why we fight, she told her team through their shared thoughts. We do not fight to hurt others or to take their things. We fight to protect those who cannot protect themselves. Her teammates who nodded. He had been a farmer before his abilities awakened. The people on those slave worlds are counting on us. The children hiding in bunkers across the galaxy need us to stop this, added Un, who had once worked in a hospital. The alien battle group spread out in attack formation. 3,000 warships, each one bristling with weapons that glowed like angry stars. They had enough firepower to turn entire planets into dust. Fire everything, Admiral Zorkan commanded. The space around Dan's team lit up like a new sun being born. Energy beams, plasma bolts, gravity bombs, and reality-tearing weapons all converged on the 5 humans. The combined attack could have destroyed a dozen worlds. But when the light faded, the humans were gone. Where are they? Zorkan demanded, staring at his screens. Scan for debris. find their bodies. Sir, his weapons officer said in a shaking voice, there is no debris. They just vanished. The 5 humans had not died or run away. They had simply stepped sideways through the barriers between dimensions, like walking through a door that no one else could see. Now they stood on the bridge of Zorkan's flagship, having appeared in the middle of his command center. The alien officers reached for their weapons, but Dan raised one hand. Please do not make us hurt you, she said gently. We offer you the chance to surrender. Go home to your families. This war does not have to continue. Admiral Zorkan looked at the 5 humans with his 4 red eyes. They were so small and plain-looking. How could they have survived his attack? Surrender, he laughed. 5 primitive creatures think they can defeat 3,000 warships? I have been fighting wars since before your world was discovered. We know, Dan said sadly. And we are sorry for all the pain you have caused. Zorkan was about to order his guards to shoot the humans when something impossible happened. His teammate Jiu, a young man who had once sold flowers on the street, closed his eyes and thought very hard. 3,000 warships, each one weighing millions of tons, each one protected by shields that could stop anything in the universe, suddenly folded in on themselves like pieces of paper. Space twisted around them, and they all vanished into the nearby star. The ships did not explode or break apart. They simply stopped existing in normal space and reappeared inside the burning heart of the sun. Admiral Zorkan's mouth fell open. His entire battle group was gone in the blink of an eye. How? He whispered. We do not fully understand it ourselves, Dan said kindly. But when we need to protect innocent people, we can do things that seem impossible. This scene played out across the galaxy as more hegemony fleets tried to attack human defenders. The aliens came with millions of ships and planet-killing weapons, but the humans did not fight them in any normal way. Instead of shooting back, the humans simply changed the rules of reality around them. Warships found themselves floating in empty space, far from any battle. Energy weapons turned into musical instruments that played beautiful songs. Soldiers who came to kill discovered that their hearts were suddenly filled with love and compassion instead of anger. On the colony world of New Geneva, something even more amazing happened. The hegemony forces managed to kill a human defender named Tai with a lucky shot. His partner Bok felt such deep sadness that something in the universe responded to her grief. Time itself moved backward around the battlefield. Tai's death was undone, the killing shot was erased, and the alien attack never happened. Bok's love for her fallen friend was so strong that it rewrote history itself. The surviving alien commander fell to his knees. This cannot be real, he whispered. They are changing time itself. They violate every law of nature. Across space, hegemony commanders were sending the same message to their emperor. The humans were not just winning battles, they were changing the basic rules of how the universe worked. Emperor Kreltax received these reports in his throne room. His greatest fleets were being defeated not by superior weapons or tactics, but by beings who could apparently do anything they wanted to reality itself. They are not just winning, his most trusted admiral reported, his voice full of fear. They are rewriting existence itself to suit their needs. Emperor Kreltax had ruled the galaxy for longer than most species could remember. He was ancient and cruel, with skin like black metal and eyes that burned like red stars. He had destroyed 1,000 worlds and enslaved 1,000,000 species. Now he came to Earth himself in his personal warship, the biggest and most deadly ship ever built. The ship was called the World Ender, and it was as large as a small moon. Inside its dark heart was the Void Engine, a weapon so terrible that even the Emperor's own people feared it. The weapon could erase entire solar systems from existence, making them vanish as if they had never been created at all. I will end this human problem once and for all, the Emperor said as his ship moved toward Earth's sun. If I cannot defeat them with normal weapons, I will destroy their star itself. Without their sun, every human will freeze to death in the cold darkness of space. The Emperor's bridge was filled with his most trusted officers. They were all monsters like him, creatures who enjoyed causing pain and suffering. But even these evil beings looked nervous as their master prepared to use the Void Engine. My lord, said General Mordhai, are you certain this is wise? The weapon is very old, and we do not fully understand how it works. Kreltax turned his burning eyes on the general. Are you questioning me? I have used this weapon to destroy the home worlds of 50 different species who dared to rebel against me. Today I will make 51. The Emperor walked to the weapon control station. The Void Engine was a massive machine that filled 3 decks of the ship. It drew its power from the dark matter between stars, using forces that existed before the universe was born. Begin charging sequence, Kreltax ordered. The ancient machine came to life with a sound like screaming metal. Dark energy flowed through its crystals and wires. The weapon had destroyed more worlds than anyone could count, and it had never failed before. But as the void engine charged up, something strange began to happen on Earth. Every human on the planet suddenly felt the same thing at the same moment. It was like a cold wind blowing through their souls, warning them that something terrible was coming for their world. 7 billion people all felt the same fear and the same love for their home. In cities and towns, in mountains and valleys, on islands and continents, humans stopped what they were doing and looked up at the sky. They could not see the Emperor's ship, but they knew it was there. They knew it wanted to hurt them and everyone they loved. Young Mother Hai was feeding her baby when she felt the danger. Old Man Bo was reading a book to his grandchildren when he knew something was wrong. Student Ai was studying for her tests when she realized her world was about to die. But the humans did not panic or cry or run away. Instead, something amazing happened. All 7 billion human minds touched each other at the same time. They shared their thoughts and feelings and memories. For one perfect moment, every human on Earth was connected to every other human, like drops of water flowing together to become an ocean. The combined power of 7 billion human souls reached out across space toward the Emperor's ship. Back on the world ender, the void engine was almost ready to fire. The dark energy had built up to dangerous levels, and the weapon was aimed directly at Earth's sun. One shot would turn the star into empty space, leaving the solar system cold and dead. Fire! Emperor Kreltax commanded. The weapon tried to shoot, but something was wrong. The dark energy flickered and sparked, then began to fade away. Warning lights flashed all over the bridge, and alarms started ringing. "What is happening?" the Emperor roared. "Why is my weapon not working?" His chief scientist, a creature with 6 arms and no eyes, worked frantically at his instruments. "My lord, the quantum matrices are being changed. Something is rewriting the weapon's most basic programming. It is as if the universe itself is refusing to let the weapon function." The Emperor stared at the dead weapon controls. For the first time in his long life, his perfect weapon had failed him. But that was only the beginning. The wave of human consciousness that had stopped the void engine kept growing stronger. It reached out and touched every alien mind in the hegemony fleet. Suddenly, thousands of evil creatures who had never felt anything but hate and anger were experiencing human emotions. General Mordhai gasped as memories that were not his own filled his mind. He saw a human mother holding her sick child, staying awake all night to take care of him. He felt the mother's love, so pure and strong that it made his heart ache. Admiral Vexthal cried out as he experienced the memory of a human soldier jumping on a grenade to save his friends. The alien felt what it was like to care more about other people than about yourself, and it changed something deep inside his soul. Emperor Kreltax himself was hit by the strongest wave of all. Human memories flooded his mind like a river breaking through a dam. He saw teachers helping students learn, artists creating beautiful things just to make others happy, and friends helping friends for no reward at all. The Emperor had lived for thousands of years, but he had never felt real love before. Now it hit him like a hammer blow to his heart. He saw what he had done to the galaxy, all the pain he had caused, all the innocent lives he had destroyed. Kreltax fell to his knees on the bridge of his mighty warship. Tears ran down his metal cheeks for the first time in his life. "We surrender," he whispered. The war was over. Years passed, and the galaxy became a very different place. The hegemony's empire of fear and slavery was replaced by a confederation where all species worked together as equals. Humans helped keep the peace, using their strange abilities to make sure no one could oppress anyone else ever again. In a small park on Earth, a little human girl named Yu was playing with her friends. Some of them were aliens with blue skin, others had fur or scales or extra arms. They were all laughing and having fun together. Yu picked up a toy spaceship and made it float through the air with just her thoughts. Her alien friends watched in wonder, but they were not afraid. They knew that Yu would only use her power to help others and keep them safe. The age of empires and conquest was over. The age of guardians and protectors had begun.